A very good evening to you and welcome to the news. I'm Berry. We're going to in the headlines tonight. State government repeats warning against illegal activities at Onitsha Industrial Harbour. Defense of 2019 state budget commences at the State Assembly. Federal government reassures on completion of second Niger Bridge project. On the foreign scene tonight, 14 Afghan soldiers killed by Taliban fighters in the Herat province of Afghanistan. And all details of the new state government says it will not relent in ridding the Onitsha Industrial Harbour of nuisance and illegal activities. The chairman of Anambra State Physical Planning Board, Barrister Chike Maduekwe, issued a final warning to illegal occupants of the area to move to designated parks as government has finalized plans to enforce sanctions. Correspondent Ejike Abanari visited the area and brings details.
When the ABS arrived at the Onitsha Industrial Harbour, several articulated vehicles were parked on the road and shanties are gradually springing up despite government's warnings and actions to sanitize the area by providing mega parks for articulated vehicles at Mbo and Owerri Road, Onitsha. Expressing displeasure over the continued nuisance in the area, Barrister Maduekwe said that state government under Governor Obiano has made it clear that the harbour is not a park, stressing that the place is planned by state government as an industrial layout to accommodate industries around the area. Barrister Maduekwe noted that residents of the area have made reports of clandestine activities gradually returning to the area, especially in the night. A resolution of the entire place with human waste and indecent living and the attendant vices, while calling on drivers of the articulated vehicles to comply with the state government's direction. Barrister Maduekwe warned that state government will not tolerate the return of criminals to the state to use the area as a hiding place, as the Obiano's administration is committed to maintain the state crime-free status.
This is Christmas time. The governor is not going to tolerate any return of criminals to Anambra State, and we will not allow them to have a hiding place in this place. So we will do what we need to do. Government will do what it needs to do. Government's duty is to make the state safe.
The general manager, communications of one of the industries, Sir Osei Lokofo, regretted that industries around the area are gradually relocating, asking government to take drastic steps towards enforcement. A resident in the area, Mr. Francis Obokiri, said that they are now afraid to come out, especially in the night, for fear of being waylaid or molested, alleging that Indian hemp, tramadol, and other harmful drugs are sold in the area, which fuels the bad lifestyle going on in the area.
We fear even going out in the night. They are using here as hideout. They bring in criminals here. Even some of the workers in most of the industries don't even go out at night because of fear of being molested one way or the other.
ABS also got some drivers who spoke off camera, who claimed that they pay 5,000 naira to some individuals to be able to park at the industrial harbour. When asked whether they are aware of government-provided parks, they said that they pay 500 naira per vehicle for a parking space. From the industrial harbour, Onitsha, Ejike Abana, ABS News.
Defense of the 2019 state budget has commenced at the House of Assembly complex in Awka, with ministries, departments and agencies appearing before the various House committees. Declaring it open, the Chairman, House Committee on Finance and Appropriation, Chief Obinna Emenaka, maintained that the timely commencement of the budget defense was in fulfillment of the promise by the lawmakers to pass the budget before the Christmas break. Chief Emenaka joins the ministries to arrange their materials before coming for the defense. Other House members expressed gratitude on the level of preparedness and experience exhibited by various ministries and appeared before them. Speaking on behalf of the heads of the ministries that have defended theirs, the Commissioner for Information and Public Enlightenment, Mr. Sidan Adenoba, commended the lawmakers for painstakingly going through the documents of various ministries, assuring that the information organs of the state will continue to promote peace and unity of the Anambra through their contents. Among the ministries that have defended their budgets include Housing, Works, Economic Planning, and as well as Information and Public Enlightenment. Meanwhile, Governor Willie Obiano has been commended for giving physical infrastructure a lion's share of 22.4 billion naira and the budget estimate of over 157 billion naira proposed for the services of the state government in the 2019 fiscal year. Speaking to the ABS shortly after the governor presented the budget to the state lawmakers, Anambra chieftain at Nise in Awka South local government area, Chief Boniface Ebutu, maintained that given physical infrastructure, which includes road construction and maintenance, a lion's share in next year's budget is a clear indication that Governor Obiano is committed to opening up various communities across the state through good road network. Chief Ebutu, while describing the relationship between the executive arm of government and the legislature as very cordial, commended the State House of Assembly for its promise to give the 2019 appropriation bill accelerated hearing for prompt passage to enable the governor continue giving the citizenry democracy dividends. And away from that, when civil servants from some states in the country are protesting non-payment of salaries, workers in a number of state ministries are busy enjoying prompt payment of salaries and also receiving their 2018 leave allowances. This is even with a strong assurance that the December salary will be paid before Christmas Day. Our correspondent Ngozi Obileri felt the pulse of some workers in the state and now reports.
It was a beehive of activities at the Jerome Udoji Secretariat Complex, Oka, as workers from various parastatals, including the ABS, were seen loading bags of rice into vehicles for onward movement to their offices where the rice will be distributed. ABS equally gathered that civil servants have received their 2018 leave allowances and will be given their December salaries before 24th of December. Some of the workers who spoke to the ABS, Mrs. Gloria Onyanguseaneze of the Ministry of Information and Public Enlightenment, and a teacher, Mrs. Ifeoma Obiora, confirmed that they received alert for the leave allowances on Monday. They said that they received their 25 kg bag of rice each as early as first and second week of November.
I'm so delighted. I'm so happy about this festive because I know that I'm going to celebrate it well because the food is there and the money is there.
On his part, an admin staff of the ABS, Mr. Afam Obidike, who took delivery of the station's consignment, expressed appreciation to the governor for keeping his promise of prompt payment of workers' salary and ensuring that they fared well, especially during the Yuletide. Also, the Public Relations Officer of the Ministry of Transport, Sir Stanley Onunkwo, confirmed that he has received an alert for the 2018 leave allowance, praying God to bless Governor Obiano for his love for the state workforce. Reacting on the development, the head of service, Barrister Harry Odo, who said that pensioners equally got their own share of the rice, noted that the gesture by the governor has put smiles on the faces of many families across the state, as according to him, every family now have what to eat on Christmas Day. Barrister Odo said that with the leave allowances, parents can equally get some new clothes for their kids before the rush time, adding that the December salary will be a fallback for them in January.
It's already on. People are getting their alert now. Again, consistent with his promise to make sure that our people enjoy their Christmas. I can imagine the spirit of children and other people who benefit from these things. People going to buy Christmas presents for their kids and stuff like new clothes and so on. And doing it ahead of time.
From the Jerome Udoji Secretariat in Oka, I am Ngozi Obileri for ABS News.
On workers' welfare, the staff of the Anambra Broadcasting Service ABS have benefited from the largesse of the state government, having taken delivery of 214 25-kilogram bags of Anambra rice. It has been happy mood among the staff since the distribution commenced, even as management of ABS also provided each staff with a 4-liter container of vegetable oil each. Correspondent Chibuzo Obidike witnessed the distribution process and filed in this report.
That was the mood at the ABS corporate headquarters, Oka, as staff of the agency danced in merriment ahead of a fruitful Christmas season. Performing the symbolic presentation of the Christmas goodies to the staff, the managing director and chief executive officer of the station, Nze Uche, said it was in fulfillment of Governor Willie Obiano's promise to civil servants since assumption of office, with the vision of improving the welfare of workers in the state, urging all to remain committed to their duty. Nze acknowledged that the annual ritual of presenting bags of rice to the state workforce is a way to appreciate the staff for their tireless efforts for the state, and reminded all of the ABS Christmas party dated 13th of this month, which is to thank God for a successful year, stating that plan is on top gear to enroll the station into a cable network in order to expand its reach.
See, now we have taken delivery of our own rice goodies, and management has also decided to also encourage staff by adding the bottles of vegetable oil. It's a wonderful opportunity for staff to gather together, bring their families. There will be music, there will be food, there will be drinks. For us to, more like Thanksgiving, to thank God for a wonderful year and to also pray to God for a more bountiful 2019. I want to appreciate everybody. Let us keep on praying for His Excellency, for the state. Salaries for November have gone. And there's a lot in the state.
Responding on behalf of the staff of the establishment, the head of administration, ABS, Lady Tina Ekenta, thanked Governor Willie Obiano for his commitment in providing the enabling environment that will promote harmonious relationship between the government and the civil servants, assured the management of ABS of full commitment of staff in achieving results needed to uplift the brand in all parts of the world.
Now he has been doing that, and this year he has done it again. And we say, may Almighty God, in His infinite mercy, bless him and his family.
Amen.
And we come back to our office. We also thank the management. Especially our able MD/CEO, Nze Uche, for what he has been doing for us. He's a movable person. He's a workaholic in his nation. So
in Oka, Chibuzo Bidiki, ABS News.
Well, we're going for a short break, and when we return, federal government reassures on completion of second Niger bridge project, and on the foreign scene, 14 Afghan soldiers killed by Taliban fighters in Herat province of Afghanistan. The news returns in a moment. Please join us again.
Anambra Broadcasting Service, ABS, invites Ndi Anambra and all lovers of goodwill to her 2018 Festival of Carols and 9 Lessons
and ceremonies marking her 2018 Christmas Party and Achievement Awards.
Thursday, December 13th, 2018 at 12 noon.
Venue, ABS Headquarters, Aroma Junction, Oka.
Chairman of the occasion, Senator Dr. Victor Ume, OFR, Senator representing Anambra Central Senatorial District.
Royal Father of the Day, His Royal Highness Igwe Ben Emeke Okebo II of Umueri. Carols to be rendered by St. Mary's Parish Choir, Oka, Life of Gospel Assembly Ministries Choir, Nkwele Zunaka, Poche Angelical Chorale, Oka, St. Mark's Anglican Church Choir, Enugu, among others.
Come, let's sing praises to the newborn King.
Season's greetings in Anambra. On behalf of Caring Family Enhancement Initiative, CAFE, I wish us all a Merry Christmas and prosperous New Year. Chief Dr. Mrs. Ebelechukwu Obiano, founder, CAFE, wife of the Governor of Anambra State.
Glad to have you back for the rest of the news. Moving on to our national stories, a total of 33 billion naira has so far been released for the implementation of the second Niger Bridge project. The managing director of the Nigerian Sovereign Investment Authority, Mr. Uche Oji, disclosed this shortly after inspecting the project. Mr. Oji visited the site with the traditional ruler of Onitsha, Igwe Nnaemeka Achebe, who was accompanied by some members of his cabinet. The project, which has been handled by Julius Berger PLC, was awarded in 2014 by the administration of former President Goodluck Jonathan. The second Niger Bridge project, which is estimated to gulp about 220 billion naira, has been experiencing delays owing to various challenges which had affected its timely implementation. Speaking on the development, Mr. Oji expressed optimism that the project would not experience further delays, saying that private sector funding for the project is being planned to be raised by 2020 through bond and equity. Mr. Oji explained that already a presidential infrastructure development fund to be managed by the Nigerian Sovereign Investment Authority had been set up for 5 critical road and power projects across the country. And moving on, the Tax Enforcement Unit of the State Internal Revenue Service has sealed off OTC Group, a subsidiary of Uru Industries Limited, Newi, over an alleged 4.5 million naira outstanding tax debt between 2011 and 2016. Correspondent Daniel Ezigwe reports.
The enforcement team was led by the head of Legal and Enforcement Unit of the agency, Mr. David Onyilofo, who said that the team swung into action after exhausting necessary legal steps, which included obtaining and serving the firm a demand notice, which it failed to honor within 30 days stipulated by the court. Mr. Onyilofo, a lawyer, added that though the company must have remitted tax deposits to the government coffers, there might be some irregularities relating to under-remittance, deduction and non-remittance, or total non-remittance. He maintained that the agency is leaving no stone unturned in its efforts to ensure that every firm in the state comply totally with tax remittance rules.
Since we started this exercise, like I said before, taxpayers, at least they know that it's their civic responsibility to pay tax, unlike before. So most of them are now compliant, and we urge them to continue to be tax compliant and pay their tax as and when due, so that this exercise will not be necessary in the first place.
In Newi, Daniel Ezigwe, ABS News.
Onto the foreign scene, the Taliban have killed at least 14 Afghan soldiers and taken another 21 captive overnight in coordinated attacks in the country's western Herat province, according to a provincial official. Najibullah Mohebi, member of Herat Provincial Council, said that attackers besieged 2 army outposts in Shindad district. The fighting lasted for 6 hours before reinforcement arrived and repulsed the fighters, but not before they captured 21 troops, Mohebi said. But the Defense Ministry spokesman Ghafor Ahmed Jawid put the number of army dead and wounded at 10. The different accounts couldn't immediately be reconciled. Taliban spokesman Zabiullah Mujahid posted a video on Twitter allegedly showing the captive soldiers inside a room. The surge in violence comes as the United States is pushing for a peaceful resolution of the 17-year conflict, while the Taliban have increasingly asserted control over vast tracts of the country. The U.S. administration is holding direct talks with the Taliban, which was toppled following a U.S.-led invasion in 2001. Taliban officials have held 3 days of talks with the U.S. Special Representative for Afghanistan, Zalmay Khalilzad, in Qatar, aimed at renewing the peace process. Last month, President Ashraf Ghani formed a 12-member team to hold peace talks with the Taliban as his government tries to bring peace ahead of next year's presidential elections. The U.S. Watchdog Special Inspector General for Afghanistan Reconstruction, SIGA, said the killings have contributed to the high rate of attrition and low morale among the security forces. Lieutenant General Kenneth McKinsey, a top U.S. general, told members of the Senate that the death toll will no longer be sustainable unless urgent measures were taken to address recruiting and training issues. A U.S. Congress-mandated watchdog estimates that nearly half of Afghanistan is either under Taliban control or the armed group's influence. Washington has committed $4 billion a year to finance, train, and outfit Afghan forces. On sports news tonight, it was an exhibition of skills and talents by students and other persons indigenous to Anambra during the launching of the state's football season on Tuesday. The epoch-making event, which took place at St. Mary's High School, Ifitedunu, drew students from various schools across the state, as well as State Deputy Governor Dr. Nkem Okeke and other government functionaries, football stakeholders in the state, teachers and lecturers. Correspondent Emmanuel Chibata was at the event and now reports.
The football season, which kicked off on Tuesday, will be rounded off on May 27, 2019. The sporting competition is also grouped into 6 categories, which are Under 13 Kids Cup, Under 17 Academia, which is Governor's Cup. The Unisoccer, which is also Vice Chancellor's Cup, will be played by tertiary institutions in the state. Community Shield, King's Cup, Market Exchange, Traders Cup, and Security Challenge, Securities Cup. According to the chairman, Anambra State Sports Development Commission, Mr. Tony Oli, the aim for creating the football season is to select those who will represent the state in every competition nationwide. Mr. Oli, who said it was a mandate from Governor Willie Obiano to further develop sports in the state, lauded the governor for making the event a reality.
This is the opportunity that the state has created for us to catch them young. We will start this competition. The idea of ending it by May is to enable us select the young lads that will always represent the states in every competition nationwide.
On his part, the chairman, Anambra State Association of Town Unions, Chief Alex Onukwe, maintained that the state is making tremendous progress in sporting activities and noted that football plays a vital role in nation building. Chief Onukwe opined that the football season will be an opportunity to discourage youths from crime and social vices. In a remark, the director, Anambra State Football Association, ANSFA, Mr. Joe Amene, commended the governor for the vision to identifying hidden talents among youths, stating that the football season stands out to bring a revolution in sporting activities in the state.
On behalf of Anambra State Football Association, on behalf of Anambra State Sports Community Development Commission, on behalf of Igwe Iluno, on behalf of the entire football stakeholders present here, on behalf of the young children here, may God continue to bless you and His Excellency for starting this revolution in Anambra State. Amen Okochi, you will live long.
Others at the event were the traditional ruler of Ifitedunu, Igwe Emeka Iluno, the chairman Post-Primary School Service Commission, Lady Joy Ulasi, the chief whip of the State House of Assembly, Mr. Lawrence Ezodo, among others. The event featured presentation of football and display of trophies by the state deputy governor, Dr. Nkemo Okeke. From St. Mary's High School, Ifitedunu, in Dunu Kofia Council area, I am Emmanuel Shibata, reporting for ABS News.
It was a celebration of life and achievements as the remains of the traditional ruler of Oba, Idemili South Local Government Area, Igwe Peter Chukwuma Ezenwa, was laid to rest at his country home, Oba. Igwe Ezenwa, aged 92 until his demise, has been on the throne as the first traditional ruler of Oba for 42 years. A.G. Kambana has details.
The service held at St. Peter's Anglican Church Parish, Oba, in honor of Igwe Ezokboko Oba, was attended by creme de la creme in the society, including ministers, top government functionaries, archbishops, bishops, clergy, and traditional rulers, among others. In a sermon, the primate, Church of Nigeria Anglican Communion, Most Reverend Nicholas Oko, described the late traditional ruler as selfless, resourceful, and a servant leader. The primate called on people, especially those aspiring to any leadership position, to imbibe the virtue of servant leadership, just like Igwe Ezokboko.
The investment on individuals, the investment on the government, to lead the people to a higher standard is the hallmark of any successful leadership. We must stop trying to mobilize ourselves through spurious factors.
In a condolence message, Governor Willie Obiano called on the family to bear the loss with fortitude, noting that the community and indeed the entire state lost a very big personality.
I took this translation of them. Including the friends of the
2 sons of Igwe Ezenwa, the regent of Oba, Chief Noel Ezenwa, and Prince Henry Ezenwa, who was a former transition chairman of Idemili South Council area, appreciated everyone that identified with them during this period of mourning. The body of the late monarch was later interred in his Ezokboko Muslim Oba. From Oba in Idemili South Council area, Ejike Abana, ABS News.
In another development, it was a sober mood for the families of Juventus Ojukwu as the remains of his wife, late Mrs. Mary Ojukwu, was interred in her husband's compound at Nkolofia village, Oketiti. Mrs. Ojukwu, who died at the age of 74, is the mother-in-law of the Commissioner for Public Utilities, Mr. Obinwankwo. Correspondent Emmanuel Chibata reports.
Among those at the event were Governor Willow Biano and his wife, Dr. Mrs. Ebelechukwu Biano, State Deputy Governor Dr. Nkemo Keke, Senator Victor Ume, the Secretary to the State Government, Professor Solochukwu Lobelo, family members, in-laws, friends and well-wishers who came to pay final respect to late Mrs. Ojukwu. Others present at the burial ceremony were the Commissioner for Transport, Mr. Ushen Nukafo, the Traditional Ruler of Nteje, Igwe Roland Odegbo, Managing Director, Anambra Broadcasting Service, Nze Ushenwora, Managing Director, Anambra Traffic Management Agency, Atman, Mr. Chris Uzeshina, and other stakeholders in the state. Speaking during the Requiem Mass, the Catholic Bishop of Oka Diocese, Most Reverend Paulinus Ezokafo, reminded Christians that death is a necessary end for all mortals. Bishop Ezokafo, who said life and death are in the hands of God, urges all to seek the face of God and prepare for eternity because, according to him, the day of reckoning is at hand.
Or start 70 or 70 for those who are strong. Even though we so many.
In an interview, the husband of the deceased, Mr. Juventus Ojukwu, who wept bitterly for the death of his wife, maintained that his love for her late wife was immeasurable, describing her as a woman of charity who never hesitated to help those in need, especially young girls whose parents were indigent, and prayed God to grant her eternal rest. In their separate speeches, some of her children, including Mrs. Chinelo Keke and Mr. Chinedu Ojukwu, said their late mother lived a life worth emulating as she dedicated herself to the service of God and humanity by providing succor to the needy, praying God to rest her soul in perfect peace. They also expressed gratitude to all whose support has contributed to the successful farewell to their departed mother. The burial ceremony witnessed condolence visits as well as other size attraction. From Oketiti, I am Emmanuel Shibata reporting for ABS News.
And that's it on the news tonight. But remember that you can follow news and programs on ABS from any part of the world by logging onto our website, www.absradiotv.com. Like us on Facebook at www.facebook.com/ABS Radio Television. You can also follow us on Twitter and Instagram at ABS Radio TV. And just before we go tonight, a quick reminder of our top stories. State government has repeatedly warned against illegal activities at Onitsha Industrial Harbour. Defensive 2019 state budget has commenced at the State Assembly. Federal government is reassured on completion of second Niger Bridge project. And on the foreign scene, we brought to you that 14 Afghan soldiers have been killed by Taliban fighters in Herat province of Afghanistan. And that's the size of our package tonight. Many thanks for joining the bulletin. I'm Iberi Ugonna.